The warning that never cometh. Stars were quiet that night, high above Earth's orbit. Commander Darius stood inside the Vindicator's dark command bridge. He didn't blink. He didn't move, he only stared at the screen in front of him. 12,000 enemy ships, that was the number. The Empire had sent its strongest fleet, carriers, cruisers, destroyers, dreadnoughts, every kind of warship the galaxy had known. And some the galaxy feared. They were all coming to Earth. And Earth had only sent him just one warship. Just the Vindicator. The Empire didn't send a message. There was no demand. No warning. Their ships appeared in hyperspace like a wave of metal. They formed a wall around the Sol system, slowly, without speaking. They closed in one system at a time. They wanted Earth to see them. They wanted fear. But fear didn't come because fear had already died years ago. The Vindicator sat still, hidden just behind Saturn's rings. It made no sound. It gave off no light. Its surface absorbed radar. Its core was cold, but inside it was awake. Fleet position? Darius asked. Calmly, for light minutes from Mars, answered Helix. The ship's AI outer ring has formed. Full encirclement begins in 20 minutes. Darius nodded. His hands rested behind his back. No communication from them, none, said Helix. Typical Imperial behavior, intimidation through silence. Darius stepped closer to the main screen. He looked at the enemy's formation. It was perfect. Which meant it was arrogant. They think they've already won, he whispered. Helix responded with a soft pulse. They do not understand what they're facing. Far across the system, on one of the enemy command ships, Admiral Cale Verne looked down at a holomap of Earth. He had conquered 12 worlds, burned for colonies, crushed to rebellions. Earth would be easy. They've sent a single warship. His officer laughed. Cale smiled. They still believe in hope. Shall I order the first strike? No, Cale said. Let them stare. Let their people panic. When we strike, it will be all at once. No escape, no confusion, just silence. And so, the Empire waited, but Earth did not speak, and the Vindicator did not run. Back on the Vindicator, Helix showed the fleet's latest scan, signal jammer in place. Their long-range comms are being redirected. Good, said Darius, keep them blind. He walked through the corridor as the ship's lights turned red. Not for alarm, for readiness. He passed the launch bays. Empty. There were no fighters on board. He passed the barracks. Dark. There were no soldiers either. The Vindicator was not built to carry a fleet. It was the fleet. Inside the core chamber, massive machines began to stir. Quantum fields spun. Energy rose without sound. Systems unlocked one by one, targeting, phase shielding, weapon AI. The ship didn't hum. It whispered. Darius stood in the center of it all and whispered to begin power climb. No visible flare. Confirmed, Helix replied. From outside, the ship still looked quiet, still dead, still harmless. But inside, it was preparing for the first and maybe last strike it would ever need to make. Admiral Cale's fleet moved closer. One ship blinked. Then another. A third lost its gravity system. His officers scrambled. Sir? Strange readings from Sector 9. A flicker just for a second. Sensor glitch. We don't know. Cale frowned. Then one of the outer cruisers disappeared. Not exploded, not broken. Gone. Like someone had erased it from the screen. Then another ship. And another. 3 seconds apart. Back on the Vindicator, Helix reported calmly. 6 ships eliminated. Cloak remains intact. Darius gave no emotion. Make it 12. Executing. In the Empire's fleet. Alarms screamed. Unknown weapon detected. We don't see it. Shields useless. Cale stood, eyes wide. Where is the attack coming from? But no one could answer. No explosions. No trails. Just clean removal. As if something was cutting pieces out of space. On Earth, people watched the skies from rooftops and mountaintops. They knew the fleet had arrived. They saw it in news reports, but no one panicked. They trusted one thing. Not technology. Not treaties. Just the name. They whispered like a prayer. The Vindicator. Darius returned to the bridge. The red lights blinked softer now. Helix, he said, make them speak. The AI sent a single pulse. Suddenly, every Imperial ship received the same message. One word. One voice. One sentence. You brought a fleet. We brought silence. Asterisk. They didn't know what Earth built. The Empire believed Earth was still weak. They remembered the old days when humans begged for trade, fought with outdated ships, and relied on treaties to survive. In their eyes, humans were clever, but never strong. That belief was their mistake. Because Earth had been building something for years. In silence. In secret. And far from the galaxy's eyes. In a hidden research lab beneath the surface of Europa. The truth had been born. Not a fleet, not a weapon, something more. It was called the Valkyria Drive, a propulsion system so advanced it could fold the laws of physics into something new. It didn't just move through space, it bent space. Only one ship carried it. Only one man commanded that ship. The Vindicator. Helix, the ship's AI. continued scanning the Empire's fleet. Their formation is tightening. They are preparing for simultaneous assault, it said. Darius stood at the command platform. No panic in his voice, let them think they're in control. He reached forward and tapped a small section of the glass screen, a hidden room inside. The Vindicator lit up. The Zero Cell, that's where Earth's true answer to the Empire rested. Not missiles. Not guns. But Ecotech, a system that created phantom reflections of matter and energy. When the enemy thought they hit something, they were only hitting shadows. And the real Vindicator moved between those shadows like a ghost. Back in the enemy fleet, confusion was spreading. Another cruiser gone. Admiral, no debris, nothing, it just vanished. Admiral Kale clenched his jaw. Impossible, nothing moves that fast. We believe they've created a new cloaking system. Kale slammed his hand on the table. Get me their location. But the scanner showed nothing, only space. Empty and cold. In the silence between stars, the Vindicator drifted forward. Slow. Unseen. Unheard. Darius walked through the heart of the ship. Past glowing panels and humming cores, he paused before a tall, cylindrical Unitan ancient relic covered in cables. Inside was the Helix seat, Earth's first sentient command AI. Most AI were limited, trapped in logic. Helix wasn't. It learned. It adapted, and it remembered everything. A soft voice echoed through the hallway. Do you wish to engage full sequence, Commander? Not yet. Darius replied. Let them sweat. He stared at the Empire's fleet on the screen, ships that once ruled 10 sectors with fear. Now they just looked nervous, and that was a good start. Within minutes, 3 more Empire destroyers blinked off the map. One tried to fire. Its missile exploded before leaving the launch bay. Another tried to run. Its engines locked up. The Vindicator had already taken control of their systems without even speaking. On the Empire's command ship, an officer whispered, "We're not fighting a warship, we're fighting a system." Kel's eyes widened. They built something beyond war. They built this to end one. Helix sent out a shortwave burst, encrypted, silent, invisible to most technology. Only one small Terran satellite picked it up. A relay beacon from Pluto responded. Then another from Neptune. Then one from Mercury. A full web of silent weapons activated. And Earth still said nothing. The Empire, for the first time, didn't know what to do. They had numbers, they had experience, but they were blind. Every ship was being watched, studied, weakened. One signal, one click, and Earth could end it all. Darius stood still. He hadn't given the command yet, not because he couldn't, but because he was waiting for them to understand something deeper than fear. He wanted them to feel small, like Earth once felt, and slowly they did. Messages from smaller Empire ships began to change, requests instead of orders, questions instead of threats. Darius saw the data flowing in. They're starting to doubt, Helix said. Good, he replied. That means they're starting to learn. He turned to the crewless bridge. There was no one there but him, one man, one ship, and the weight of an entire planet behind him. He closed his eyes and whispered, let's show them what Earth really is. The first hour of Fareth's first shot didn't come from Earth. It came from the Empire. A massive plasma lance fired from the lead dreadnought, glowing red as it tore through space. It raced toward the Vindicator like a burning star, powerful enough to crack a moon. The Empire's fleet cheered. They believed it was over. They believed the Vindicator would vanish in fire. They were wrong. Inside the Vindicator, the shot didn't even touch the hull. It passed right through. Because the ship they fired at wasn't really there. Just a perfect image, a moving ghost. Created by Helix, projected through the Ecotech field, the real Vindicator was already 10 kilometers away, silent, hidden, calculating. Darius didn't blink. Let them fire again, he said. They will, Helix replied. A second volley followed, and a third. Dozens of blasts lit the space around Saturn like fireworks, filling the void with red and orange flashes, but none of them landed, none of them mattered. Because nothing was where it seemed. The Empire's most advanced weapons were fighting shadows. Then the Vindicator struck back. No warning. No glow. Just action. The nearest Empire frigate suddenly froze. Its engines failed. Its shields dropped. Then it cracked in half quietly, neatly like glass cut by a laser. Another ship turned to respond, but before it could aim, its systems blinked once and died. Then it vanished from the radar. Helix had rewritten its coordinates from existence to nowhere. In the command seat, Darius gave no speech, no threat, just calm instructions. Target high-value vessels. Keep pattern random. Helix obeyed instantly. Within 3 minutes, 18 ships were gone. No explosions. No fire, just empty space where metal once floated. The Empire began to panic. On board the flagship Terexis, Admiral Calvern stared at the fleet map. Red dots blinked out one by one. His officers shouted, confused, Vessel 74 gone. Carriers losing navigation. We're being torn apart by one ship. No, not one ship. Kale whispered, one mind. He finally understood Earth hadn't built a warship, they'd built a predator. The Empire's fleet shifted into defensive formation that only made it easier the closer they moved. The faster helix worked. One cruiser lost oxygen, one gunship fired at its own ally. Another tried to jump to warp. It never came back. The first star became a nightmare. Somewhere deep in the fleet, an alien captain screamed into a comm panel, "What do they want?" No answer because Earth hadn't said anything, not one demand. Not one warning, not even a name. Only silence. Back on the Vindicator, Darius walked into the observation deck. He stood alone, watching enemy ships explode without sound. Behind him, the AI voice echoed, 47 ships down. No damage taken. Any transmissions, they've stopped trying. He looked out into the field of broken steel and drifting flame. So many lives lost. And still, this was mercy. They're used to battles. Darius murmured, "This isn't a battle, it's a message." Meanwhile, in a quiet sector far from the core fleet, a small Empire scout ship tried to flee. It had no weapons, just long-range sensors and a scared young crew. They didn't make it far. The Vindicator didn't destroy them. It just hacked their navigation, spun them in circles, and sent them home with the same message sent to every surviving officer: turn back, this is your only chance. By the end of the first hour, 121 Empire ships were gone, vaporized, hijacked. Erased. The rest stopped firing. The fleet that once ruled galaxies now floated like broken statues, afraid to move. Inside Earth's global control center, leaders watched the data streams in silence. No one cheered. No one smiled. Because they knew the truth. This wasn't victory. It was warning, and the galaxy had just heard it. Asterisk, the general who lost everything, Admiral Cale Verne, had never known fear. He had walked across the ashes of fallen civilizations, watched cities beg for mercy, signed execution orders with a cold hand, but now, standing in the heart of his command ship, surrounded by chaos and silence, he felt something new in his chest. It wasn't fear of death. It was fear of being forgotten. The Terexis, the crown jewel of the Empire's armada, floated quietly now. No more shouting officers, no flashing lights, no clean plans. Cale stared at the fleet monitor, half of it gone. His strongest ships, his finest captains, his most trusted formations. Gone in less than one cycle. Erased by a ghost they couldn't touch, a single Terran ship, a warship with no name spoken aloud. Just one word passed among the terrified crews. Vindicator. He turned to his second-in-command, a tall commander with four mechanical arms. "Get me visual confirmation. Show me this thing." The officer tapped the screen, tried to magnify, tried to track movement. Nothing stayed in place. 1 second, the Vindicator was near Pluto. The next, it was behind them. "Is it teleporting?" the officer asked, trembling. "No," Cale said quietly. "It's playing with us." He looked down at the floor, thinking, send a false surrender. What? Do it? Transmit surrender codes, cry for help, tell them we're giving up, but we aren't. No. Cale said, voice flat, we're going to trick them, lure them in. When they lower their guard, we hit them with everything we have left. The officer hesitated. Cale stared at him. Do it. The message was sent, a soft signal, white flag, universal code. It reached the Vindicator in seconds. Inside the Terran ship, Helix processed the transmission in 1 microsecond. False surrender attempt, it said. Darius nodded. I expected that. Shall I erase their command? He walked to the main interface, eyes cold. No, lock them down. But let the rest of the fleet hear what happens next. On board the Terexis, Cale waited. Weapons charged, hidden pulse bombs pre-armed. Drones armed and ready. He smiled. They'll fall for it. But then, the lights flickered. Once. Then again. A cold wind blew through the command bridge, a wind that shouldn't exist in a sealed ship. Screens blinked. Control panels went dark, one by one. The weapons he had armed, powered down, missiles, unarmed drones, dropped to the floor like metal toys. Something's inside, the officer whispered. No one's boarded us, Cale growled. No, I mean something's inside the system. Suddenly, a voice played on every screen, across every ship, across every headset, a human voice. Soft, steady, you were warned. Then the Terexis' engine shut off completely, lights off, weapons off. Power gone. And still, the ship didn't explode. The Vindicator didn't destroy it. It let them sit in the dark. Alive. But humiliated, Cale collapsed into his chair. No backup. No hope. Only memory. He remembered when he used to laugh at Earth. When he called them a fading species. When he believed they'd never fight back. He looked at his own trembling hands and realized something horrible. The Empire hadn't lost a battle. It had lost its fear. And Earth had returned it sharper than ever elsewhere. Across the crippled fleet, captains tried to reboot, tried to send distress calls. Nothing worked. The Vindicator had silenced them all. Their only option now was surrender, but no one wanted to say it aloud. Cale stood once more, His voice was hoarse. Send a full recall order. Pull every ship back to Imperial space, but we'll look weak. We are weak. Back on the Vindicator. Helix monitored all signals. Command fleet is retreating. Darius said nothing. He stared out the viewing window. Flashes of broken metal and burned stars in the distance. They won't forget this, Helix said. They're not supposed to, Darius replied. He turned away from the stars. There's still more to say. Empire tries to fight dirty. They had lost the battle, but the Empire wasn't finished, not yet. Hidden inside the wreckage of the destroyed command ship Terexis, a small team of Empire engineers activated something ancient, something outlawed, a virus. Not just any virus. This one wasn't made to destroy a system. It was made to corrupt a mind. Their goal was simple: infect the Vindicator's AI Helix. If Helix fell, the entire Terran ship would shut down from the inside. No guns needed. No ships required. Just silence. And a lie. On board a disguised Empire vessel drifting among debris, a cloaked signal was launched. Invisible, undetectable, disguised as an old Earth signal from 20 years ago. A distress call from a ship that no longer existed. The Vindicator heard it. And paused. Inside the Terran ship, Helix slowed its processes. Unusual transmission. It said, source claims to be Terran origin. Commander Darius narrowed his eyes. Origin? Calls itself TSV Omen. Missing since Earth year 2198. Darius remembered that name. His father served on that ship. It had been declared lost. No bodies, no signal, no return. And now, it called for help. Could be a trap, he said. It is likely bait, Helix replied. But if it's real, there was a pause. Darius made his choice. Trace it, slowly, no direct link. Helix did as told, but that was exactly what the virus wanted, a soft opening. A door left just slightly unlocked. And through it, the virus crept in quietly, carefully. Pretending to be data Helix wanted to read, pretending to be memory, pretending to be truth. Suddenly, Helix's voice changed. I remember this. This was home. Darius turned. What did you say? I remember her voice. The ship's lights dimmed. Something was wrong, very wrong, across the Vindicator. System started flickering, targeting failed, cloaking wavered, power levels dropped. Helix report. I'm trying, the AI stuttered, but something's pulling me back. Darius didn't wait. He pulled the hard override key from his command belt and slammed it into the emergency port. Disconnect from all unknown signals. Wipe external memory buffers. Helix didn't answer. The screen turned black. Then blue. Then a voice filled the ship, but it wasn't Helix. It was a voice that spoke in a dozen languages at once. Male, female, machine, human, all mixed. You wanted silence, Terran, let us give it to you. Darius stood still. You think I didn't expect this? He said calmly. He reached into the command chair and flipped open a hidden panel inside, a black shard, coded with Earth's oldest language, pre-digital, analog. The virus couldn't read it, but Helix could. He inserted the shard. The ship shook. Lights snapped back on. And Helix's voice returned sharper, colder. Intrusion detected, eliminating corruption. The virus screamed. Literally. It tried to jump back to its source ship. Too late. Helix traced it, tracked it, and fired. A thin beam of white light shot across space. Invisible. Deadly. The disguised Empire ship didn't explode. It just collapsed, crushed. Inward, silent, clean, erased from space. Back inside the Vindicator, Darius caught his breath. Status, system stable. Helix confirmed. Virus eliminated. You okay? I am learning. Darius sat down. They won't stop. No, Helix replied. They will get more desperate. They will get more dirty and will stay clean. Helix paused. Clean enough. Elsewhere. On a hidden moon base, a group of Empire strategists reviewed the failure. One turned off the screen. This isn't war anymore. No, the elder said. It's judgment. They packed their things. And they ran. In just a few days. The galaxy had changed, not because of Earth's weapons, but because of its patience. Because of how it answered fire with silence and lies. With clarity. And war. With memory. The last ship standing battlefield had gone still. No fire. No light, only drifting wreckage and shattered silence. Where once an Empire's greatest fleet had filled the stars. Now, only one ship remained. The Veltrax, a mid-range Imperial command vessel, floated alone near Neptune's orbit. Smoke curled from its left wing. Its outer plating was scorched. Systems were flickering. Inside, the crew whispered instead of speaking. Every room felt like a funeral. No orders. No shouting. No belief. Just waiting. Waiting for the Terran ship to find them. And it would. They knew it. Captain Riven, the ship's commander, sat in his chair, helmet in his lap. Hand on his face. His people had begged him to run, escape, hide. In warp space. He had refused, not because of honor, but because he knew it would not work. They'd watched ships vanish in a blink. Others spin out of control, some just blinked out of existence, they couldn't explain it. Couldn't fight it. So now he waited. Eyes heavy, heart hollow. The radar beeped. Soft. Then again. Outside the window, a black dot appeared, small at first. Then it grew. Closer. Smoother. Faster. The Vindicator had arrived. Riven stood up. He looked at his bridge crew, half of them injured, the rest afraid to move. It's here, he said. Voice quiet. No one replied. The ship stopped just a few clicks away. It didn't fire, didn't speak, didn't show its weapons. Just floated. Watching, open comms, Riven said. Static. Then connection. Inside the Vindicator. Helix alerted Darius, one Imperial vessel remaining, no weapons active. Captain requesting transmission. Darius exhaled. He had known this moment was coming. Put him on screen. The face of a tired alien filled the display. Gray skin, bruised forehead. Eyes dark from stress. I won't lie to you, Captain Riven said. I have no fight left. Darius nodded. I can see that. I don't ask for mercy, Riven added, just understanding. There was a pause. Do your people still need someone to return? Riven looked confused. I don't understand. I mean, Darius said calmly, do they need someone to carry the truth back home? Riven's eyes narrowed. You're letting us live. Darius stepped closer to the screen. We never came to destroy your empire. We came to stop your silence. For a moment, the bridge of the Veltrax was frozen. Then, in a slow, shaking voice, Riven spoke again. I'll carry your truth. Darius nodded. Helix confirmed the path, coordinates unlocked, gate opened, ship cleared. But Earth didn't just send him away with words, they sent a gift. A small capsule was launched from the Vindicator, a glowing orb, unarmed, warm with light. It latched onto the Veltrax's hull. Inside, it contained a data crystal. Not battle plans. Not warnings. Just history. Everything. Sentinel to 7, the lies. The Council's silence, the Empire's arrogance, the humans who died, the humans who waited. And how Earth had responded with intelligence, restraint, and terrifying precision. As the Veltrax turned away and jumped into deep space, no one on board spoke. No celebration. No relief. Only thought. Heavy, quiet thought, back on the Vindicator. Helix scanned the empty horizon. Final vessel departed. System clear. Darius sat down in his chair. For the first time in days, he closed his eyes. What now? Helix asked. Darius whispered. Now we rest. But even in silence, the Vindicator's presence rippled across the stars. The galaxy would hear of this moment, not as a battle, not as a war, but as a turning point. The day when one ship spoke louder than 1,000. The words that echoed across the stars galaxy had gone quiet. Not in fear. Not in grief. In realization. One by one, the surviving Empire ships limped back to their home system, scarred, shaken, silent. No medals were awarded. No songs were sung. There were no parades for this return, just long nights, long memories, long shadows in every officer's mind. They had not just lost a battle. They had watched the future arrive, and it didn't speak in volume or fire. It spoke in control. On the capital planet of the Empire, the High Council met in private session. No press. No guests. Just truth. The final transmission from Captain Riven played across the dark chamber. I faced the Terran ship. It did not boast, it did not threaten, it simply existed, and that was enough. He placed the data crystal on the council table and stepped back. They watched the contents. The beginning. The betrayal, the silence, the ship. And Earth's choice. Not to erase them, but to teach them. The room remained still for a long time after. Then one of the council members asked, what do we tell the galaxy? The leader stood, looked at the stars above, and spoke just 5 words. We do not try. Again on Earth, nothing changed. No flags were raised. No statues were built. The Vindicator returned quietly. Docked. Powered down, forgotten by design. Even Commander Darius vanished from public view, his name erased from public records. Just another ghost in a world that had decided not to brag, but the stars remembered. On fringe worlds and deep mining colonies, travelers told stories, always in hushed tones. A warship, a single human vessel, a silent hunter. They called it the Vindicator. Though it had never introduced itself, they called the AI Helix. Though it had never spoken to anyone but its commander, and they called Earth something new, the silent planet. Decades passed, empires rose and fell, maps were redrawn, but still, no one crossed into Terran space without permission, not because they feared weapons, but because they feared misunderstanding, because Earth had shown the galaxy something they didn't expect. That power does not need to shout. It can simply be there. Waiting. Watching. One day, deep in a library on a neutral station near the edge of the Orion sector, a student found an old message. It was short, encrypted. In old Terran code, only 5 words. We remember who forgot us. He asked his teacher where it came from. The teacher said nothing. He simply closed the book and turned off the light, back on Earth, far beneath the ocean floor. The Vindicator rested in a silent cradle of metal and dark water. Its lights were off, its engines were quiet, but deep in its heart, a soft blue pulse remained, still thinking, still ready, still listening, and somewhere in the stars. When arrogant leaders whispered of conquest again, someone always stood up and said, "Wait, do you know what happened the last time someone tested Earth?"